This is actually really bad. Leviathan. So this is the story of the Leviathan and what's happening in Venezuela. This is not a border war. It's a barrel war. Barrels. God said, my people will perish because of a lack of knowledge. You don't know where you live. You don't know what this earth is. And then when God said, you will return to the ground, the soil where you come from, it's because it's true. Everything we live on is fertilized by the fossils, the remains of the dead thingies, creatures, beings that once walked this earth. So you have graveyards, they bury people everywhere. Your remains fertilize the ground. Just like how the giants' remains fertilize the ground. Just like the remains of the creatures fertilize the ground. Just like how Leviathan, who's not dead, still fertilizes the earth. The oil that Trump wants is from the Leviathan. It's the Leviathan blood. The Leviathan is still alive. And that's why oil is so important. It's not oil, because what is oil? Look it up. I did. When I was researching this, and I was like, okay, what is this oil gun? And then fossil fuels, and I was like, oh, it makes sense. It's still alive. It's so big. That creature is so big, like it says in the Bible. It's dangerous. It's nothing. You're gonna be like, whoa. If you even get a chance to see it, because there'll be earthquakes and hurricanes and tsunamis. It will move so fast. If that thing was to come up, you'll die just looking at it, because you think it's fairy tales, but it's not. South Africa is the skull of a giant. That's why it's desertous. This desert, it's dry, droughts, water.
The Leviathan is actually real, and it's coming into surface this year, 2026. It's coming into surface, and I talked about it from many videos that I made last year, and I said 2026 is gonna be the year of revealings. Many creatures, many supernatural beings are gonna reveal themselves. And as you can see, if you go through your For You page or anything about like supernatural, the Leviathan is actually the main subject, and it's revealing itself. It's actually situated right now between Haiti, Venezuela, and Cuba.
South Africa is calling for an urgent United Nations Security Council meeting following what it calls unilateral military action in Venezuela. Now, the International Relations Department says it views the U.S. strike and the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife as a grave violation of the UN Charter. Pretoria warns that the use of force against a sovereign state undermines international law, political independence, and global stability. It is now urging the Security Council to convene immediately to address the situation and to prevent further escalation.
The Leviathan is actually the main subject, and it's revealing itself. It's actually situated right now between Haiti, Venezuela, and Cuba. Go look at the map. Go look at the researches that scientists are actually doing right now. And then they're actually discovering this big animal that's traveling at a fast pace. Like between, like the ocean between these countries. We don't know why yet. But like I told you guys, this year was going to be a hell of a year. And then here we are. Please do your own research. Protect your soul. Protect yourself. And let's see what happens.
Yes, this is exactly what we were warned about. Scientists are in shock after discovering signs of a creature larger than an entire continent rising from the ocean depths. Its name, as written in Isaiah 27, Leviathan, the monstrous serpent of chaos foretold to appear on Judgment Day. Aerial photos now show what looks like a colossal head beneath the waves. It's not land, it's moving. And sonar scans taken in May revealed a massive dark shape, hundreds of feet deep, slowly pushing toward the surface. Its size, bigger than the entire state of Texas. Experts fear it could be heading toward the US, especially after a sudden crack 6 football fields wide opened in Wyoming without warning. Meanwhile, earthquakes are increasing, whales and marine life keep washing ashore. Lifeless, everything points to one chilling possibility. Leviathan is waking up, or the Bible's doomsday prophecy coming true.
Oh dear God, there's more than one Leviathan. This is the one off of Argentina, but there's another one up at Venezuela. There it is right there. You can see the face, you can see where the snout is, you can see where the 2 eyes would be. Oh my God. And you can see, like he said on his page, where she would feed at over here, and she's been moving, and that's why there's all kind of earthquakes over here. But you can see one of the eyes right here and one of the eyes right there. Yeah, these things are huge, and I'm hearing there's more than 2 now. Way to go. Great. Let's piss it off. Let's irritate it. So this is the one causing the Drake shake to get over to this tip of Antarctica. And its head has been slightly moving, as we can see from Google Earth. And like Detta said, this is like the belly area, aka the belly of the beast. But you cannot tell me that you don't see that. Or the other one. You can't tell me that you don't see it. Plain as fucking day. Wow. Dude, I'm learning something new every day.
I need you to listen to me right now. The attacks on Venezuela have nothing to do with democracy or elections. It has everything to do with oil. Venezuela has the largest oil reserve on the planet. So
when it comes to Trump and Venezuela, something doesn't add up. What we are seeing, it's too blatant, too legally questionable, and too rhetorically sloppy to make sense as a serious standalone policy move. And when power behaves like that, it usually means we are not looking at the main play. Let's start with the obvious. The United States has no legal authority to remove the leadership of a sovereign country like Venezuela. There was no congressional authorization, there was no international mandate. And openly talking about US oil companies taking over Venezuelan resources has no basis in international law. That part is not controversial, it's basic. So the question becomes, if this is so clearly illegal and so openly stated, why do it this way? Because real power rarely hides behind clumsy arguments unless the argument itself isn't the point. What Venezuela provides is noise. It's loud, it pulls attention, it triggers outrage, it forces governments, media and citizens to focus on one place, one story, one crisis. And that's useful. And we've seen this pattern before. Before this, Donald Trump spoke publicly about acquiring Greenland for security reasons. And that wasn't random. It normalized territorial language again. Ownership, control, acquisition, all framed as security. Now Venezuela does the same thing, but louder. While everyone argues about legality, morality and oil, other moves can happen quietly. Financial pressure, alliance testing, military repositioning, or intelligence reshuffling. These things don't trend, they don't go viral, but they do shape outcomes. Another possibility is domestic. A foreign crisis allows executive power to expand without debate. Congress becomes background noise, emergency logic replaces normal process, and even if the external move fails, the internal precedent can remain. And then there's one more layer people ignore. You don't need to take oil to profit from oil. You just need volatility. Statements alone move markets, insurance rates, shipping risk, and futures. So when something looks this crude and this exposed, it's often not because it's careless, it's because it's serving another function. The mistake is to ask only, is this legal? The more important question is, what is this distracting from? And who benefits while everyone is watching this?
But we're buying oil from Venezuela. When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. But now we're buying oil from Venezuela, so we're making a dictator very rich. Can you believe this? Nobody can believe it.
They really thought we weren't going to see this. I don't know why he went into Venezuela. There it is.
This is very terrifying. If Donald Trump can capture Venezuela's president and his wife in the middle of the night while they were still sleeping, this man can capture anybody he wants to capture in this world. Yes, this Venezuela's president was seen in an interview last night. He was saying something about collaborating with the US to fight the drug trafficking in his country, right? And between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., this man and his wife were captured. And they were taken to a unknown location. Right now, nobody knows where they are. Like, all the presidents in the world, they are all shaking right now because nobody knows this man, Donald Trump's action. Like, nobody knows the next step he will take.
I think evacuated, not kidnapped. I gotta be honest with you. I think evacuated, not kidnapped. His wife came with him. He's wishing people Happy New Year as he's walking through the jail. He's posing with thumbs up with the DEA. I think bro got evacuated.
Dazzling diamond. Welcome to the vault.
Dazzling diamonds. So, you guys heard, right, about Trump kidnapping the president of Venezuela and his wife. And apparently, allegedly, our Trump was saying, Uguti, it's because of the corruption and the drugs in that country, and they just gonna put an end to this, and they're gonna take control of the country, and they're gonna fix things and what have you. Now, you guys have been waiting for me. This was the perfect time for me to do this video. Leviathan. Because this is the moment I get to tell you what it really is. It makes sense now how in December I wanted to do this video so bad and something was holding me back. And then come to January and Trump does this thing, kidnapping the president of Venezuela. Because what really is your business day? Presidents from other countries are kidnapping presidents from other countries. No, man, this is giving you are trying to start WW3. Why? I mean, we've seen the videos of the president from Venezuela handcuffed his wife as well. It's so treacherous. Oh, Donald Trump thinks he owns the world. And then I see people joking around saying, no, leave the Venezuelan president and come and take Ramaphosa. He's not going to take Ramaphosa because Ramaphosa's country, us, doesn't have what Trump wants. What did I say to you guys about Leviathan? It's like, it's in the Bible. When that old dragon wakes up, Revelations. That's it. But there's not only one. There's more than one. It's a serpent-like creature. It has wings, by the way, right? It's a dragon. That's why in every culture, every country, every whatever, there's always a story about dragons. Chinese people, in their zodiac signs, they have a dragon. Dragons are real. You guys don't believe in these things where you think garden gnomes and fairies and stuff. No, that's not real. That's fairy tales. No, they're real. They actually exist. Giants exist. Dragons, the Leviathan, more than one, exists, right? So this is the story of the Leviathan and what's happening in Venezuela. Our Trump are making it sound like, no, we are trying to eradicate these drug cartels at the ports and what have you. And that's why last year I was saying to you guys, it's very fishy what's happening there in Cape Town at the ports, and why at our ports, why don't we have military power? Remember when that was it Navy guy was saying we don't have firepower there? Guys, there's a problem. Yeah, that story just died down. And I said to you guys, it's like we're sitting ducks. We've been sitting ducks, right? But they're not really. Like when people were saying, come get Ramaphosa, whatever, they're not really after South Africa. And it's because South Africa is dead land. But I'll tell you why I say that, right? Venezuela is one of those countries where the Leviathan is laying. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think the head and the eye of the Leviathan is right there in Venezuela. Most of these coastal, what do you call it? These tropical places is where the body of the Leviathan lays. But the point at which the Leviathan is laying in Venezuela is where, and this is the reason why Trump did what he did, is where they can extract a lot of the fresh oil. You don't believe me when I tell you this because it sounds so woo-woo. Oh, Len, you're from the spiritual community, you're from the truth conspiracy, you're from the, what's this? Yeah, conspiracy woo-woo people community. Yes, I am. And so I know a thing about a thing. Right? You follow the information. You go down enough rabbit holes where it starts to click way too much. And you're just like, oh yeah, this shouldn't make so much sense. You start to do your own research and you actually look at the maps and you're just like, huh, this is actually really bad. Right? So here's your Leviathan video. So, I was hearing last year already from my community, the truth is, that at some point, America is going to strike Venezuela. And I was just like, it's not happening, okay. You kind of chill. And then they did it. When they sent those missiles didn't do much damage. A distraction to kidnap the Venezuelan president. That wasn't a kidnap. That was just, they took him. Wherever he is, he's fine. They just took him. Because he's in on it too. Because he knows. The elites know. And the people in my community know.
I think evacuated, not kidnapped. I gotta be honest with you. I think evacuated, not kidnapped. His wife came with him. He's wishing people Happy New Year as he's walking through the jail. He's posing with thumbs up with the DEA. I think bro got evacuated for a deal. I think this is way more fucked up than we think it is.
Venezuela has most of the oil. Not just Venezuela, but they have a significant amount of the oil. Trump is not after the drug cartels. He's after the oil. And he actually has said as much. He has.
I need you to listen to me right now. The attacks on Venezuela have nothing to do with democracy or elections. It has everything to do with oil. Venezuela has the largest oil reserve on the planet. So anything the right is saying, anything the news is saying about protecting our democracy is just not fucking true. American businessmen are greedy bastards and they literally just want to continue to further their business interests by taking this oil and having access to this oil. Trump continues to claim that Maduro, who is the president of Venezuela, has ties to gangs and criminal contacts and they're bringing drugs. Where is the fucking proof? They just keep saying, oh, we're bombing ships that were carrying drugs. Where's the proof? How do you know this? At what point are the American people going to fucking stand up and not tolerate this bullshit? It's the same exact script that the American government has been using for decades to get involved in other countries abroad and, quite frankly, bomb and murder civilians, all for oil or natural resources that they can profit on. Prices of food, water, and medicine has already gone way up in Venezuela. Venezuelans cannot access those things. Not to mention, we literally fucking captured the president and his wife and flew them out of there, because what the fuck are we gonna be doing?
But we're buying oil from Venezuela. When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door.
He has. And nobody's really paying attention. This is not a border war. It's a barrel war. Barrels. America has oil, crude oil. But they want that fossil fuel oil. Remember when I told you, Jorge, fossil fuels, as they have explained it, is the fossils of the dead animals, wada, and then it turns into oil. No. If it was dead, it would be dead. It would not be usable. The Leviathan is still awake, and it's starting to move.
She's been awakened on purpose. I don't think enough people did that to get rid of enough people. So they woke the dragon. Once again, if you're on the West Coast, get out of there now. I don't know when. I'm not exactly sure where, besides beside the body and where it connects. But a lot's gonna move. And when she moves, a lot of people are going to meet their demise.
It's awake. You have your hurricanes and tsunamis. It's because the Leviathan moves. When the ocean pulls back and, oh my gosh, it's going to be a level 5 water. They can predict it because they can see it. When the Leviathan sucks, it's feeding. And then when it releases maybe a burp or some poop in those coastal areas, that's where you get all these natural disasters. And yes, it is a natural disaster because it is caused by a natural creature on this earth, this monster, something you cannot fathom with your brain, but you should be able to because you've heard the stories, you've watched the movies, you've watched the cartoons. It's real. They put everything in plain sight. Only those with eyes will see. God said, my people will perish because of a lack of knowledge. You don't know where you live. You don't know what this earth is. And then when God said, you will return to the ground, the soil where you come from, it's because it's true. Everything we live on is fertilized by the fossils, the remains of the dead thingies, creatures, beings that once walked this earth. And so you have graveyards, you bury people everywhere. Your remains fertilize the ground, just like how the giants' remains fertilize the ground, just like the remains of the creatures fertilize the ground, just like how Leviathan, who's not dead, still fertilizes the earth. The oil that Trump wants is from the Leviathan. It's the Leviathan blood. The Leviathan is still alive. And that's why oil is so important. It's not oil, because what is oil? Look it up. I did. When I was researching this, and I was like, okay, what is this oil? And then fossil fuels, and I was like, oh, it makes sense. It's still alive. It's so big. That creature is so big, like it says in the Bible. It's dangerous. It's nothing. You're gonna be like, whoa. If you even get a chance to see it, because there'll be earthquakes and hurricanes and tsunamis. It will move so fast. If that thing was to come up, you'll die just looking at it, because you think it's fairy tales, but it's not. So Trump wanting control of that oil, he had to do what he had to do to prove a point. Like, I told you I'm going to do this. I want what I want. Because America has crude oil. And the machinery that they have that processes crude oil is actually machinery that can process Leviathan's blood, which is the oil that they want that is in Venezuela. Crude oil in there. They want Leviathan's blood. You have to believe me. If God said you will return to the ground where you come from, that means for every creature. And that's what keeps the world going and alive. And that's why they don't want the ice to melt. We have to combat global warming. The ice is melting. Because if the ice melts, Leviathan on that section is going to be released. Do you get it? It's dangerous. I don't know if anybody can survive. I don't know if we can survive this when Leviathan is completely shaken out of the grounds. He said he wants to run. We're going to take over Venezuela. We're going to run it the way we're going to do it. They need our help. He just wants the oil. And he said it. The oil is Leviathan's blood. You will return to the ground because you have to fertilize the earth. There are companies that are now saying there's no more burial spaces, wada. We can just take your loved one's remains and use them as fertilizer for trees. We can plant a tree. Do you get it? My people will die because of a lack of knowledge. You will go back into the ground. Your soul will live on. Death is not real. Your soul will live on. Your body will fertilize the ground. The same way our Leviathan, even though they are still alive, fertilizes the ground. But that's why there are these oil wars, because Leviathan is still alive. The blood is still rich. Only natural things can make natural things in this world work. That's why we need oil. Do you get it? That's why Trump is doing this. He wants to control it. And all the leaders of the world know this. South Africa, you can relax. They're not coming for Ramaphosa. We are sitting. South Africa is the skull of a giant. That's why it's desertous. This desert, dry, drought, wada.
Head of a creature is Africa. And there's more than that one. Hold on. We got this one. And then we got this one. Now, and they both appear to be different maps, and they both appear to show the exact same thing. And I looked up the cranial formation, and it's not too far off from that. I mean, it really isn't.
We have the minerals that we have, the dry ones, diamonds, and this and that. We're not rich in oil like Venezuela. Because our country, you can look at it. It's a skull of a giant. It's dead. There's no life really in it. There's enough still pumping to fertilize our earth. It's not that much. Like in the rainforests and stuff. It's fossils. Go on. Go buy your Himalayan salt. You eat it. You're a cannibal Hannibal, I told you. Lejamadi. Salty salt. Bloody salty salt. It's a body of a giant or Nephilim or whatever that creature was. But don't be afraid and be disgusted. That's how it's always been. The same way you are going to go back into the ground. And then somebody's going to plant a tree one day. You're fertilizing the earth. Your body goes in, it goes out, it goes in. The only thing that lives on is your soul. You will return if you do. You're an advanced form of AI for now. And that's why AI is advancing. Because they will be the next humans. You won't even be here. You won't even be a thought. You won't even be remembered by the time this happens. But it's happening now in your generation. the bodies have to be stronger because our bodies are weak. But your soul will go on. You'll be in the internet or in one of those robots. That's why they can transfer consciousness. That's why AI is becoming sentient. Oh my gosh, it's a soul. This is not a joke. They bombed that section in Venezuela, and it was just a little bombing situation that was small because they also know, bomb it enough, you are going to separate the earth, which means the Leviathan can move easily. It's gonna come out just like in Revelations. It is. Eventually, we might not be here for that, to see that, but they are already doing these things now. So what if we are? But it's moving and it's awake. It's about the oil. It is all about the oil. The Leviathan is still awake. It's still alive, rather. But just like any other serpent that goes into hibernation, you can imagine a serpent of that size and magnitude will be in hibernation for longer. But it is also encrusted into the earth. It is still alive. That's why it still does feed and releases and feeds. Your natural disasters are natural disasters, but they're not natural in the way that they're telling you. Oh, it's the weather, it's the weather. No. God is so clever. You need to understand. And He didn't lie when He said you're going to die and perish because of a lack of knowledge. It's not just demons and whatnot. You're gonna perish because I told you guys, you don't know anything. And the more I get to learn is the more I realize how much I don't actually know. I always tell you guys that. And then nobody will believe me when I say these things. But it only makes sense. It's visually there. There are things beyond the ice wall. There are things in the ocean. We are going to explore space, and we've explored so much of space, but we have not explored so much of the ocean. Why? Because some of these things are coming out of the ocean. They send their rockets and there's a ripple effect that looks like water. Why? As above, so below. The waters are there. There's another ocean and a level and a water and a water. And so below, there are rivers and lands, dry lands in the sea. Think. There are big megalodon sharks. The Meg. If you guys have watched the Meg movies, go watch them. You will see. There's things down there. So you can't tell me that you don't believe Leviathan is just sitting in the ocean. And the ocean is so big. Enough space for that dragon. And the man puma, it can also fly. It's got wings. It does have wings. And there's not just one. Remember when they said they were in the ocean and they discovered these eggs? Whose eggs do you think those belong to? Whose eggs? Don't play with me. Play with your mammy. So Trump wants that oil, and he's made it very clear. It's not a border war, it's a barrel war. They want Leviathan's blood. And they keep on aggravating that Leviathan. They're gonna keep bombing and doing all these things. It's already awake. But once it can wriggle enough to get out, you're gonna see something you've never seen before. I just hope from watching this video that you will know, oh, but Lynn did say it. So when you see it, you don't die of a stroke or a heart attack. And then go and read Revelations. And now start applying those stories in the Bible as real stories. Not fictional stories. Real story, like that thing is gonna happen where you're gonna see something you've never seen before, and you're gonna die because you're gonna be like, oh my gosh. It should never be an oh my gosh because I told you. There's no way further I can go with the Leviathan video. And I think God wanted me to wait until this moment, because I did say to you guys, I wanted to do it, but being bambezegile. As soon as I heard what happened in Venezuela, because I already knew where the Leviathan lays, I was like, I was waiting for this. Like, I knew they were going to do it. I didn't know they were going to kidnap the president and what have you, but I knew about they were going to start bombing. It was going to be a problem. This is about to become a catastrophic world problem. South Africa, you can relax actually. You are sitting on a giant skull. This is what it looks like. Don't worry, South Africa. They're not coming for you yet. Rainforests and all these places. Those green places. Yes. That's where the body lays of the Leviathan. Fossil fuels, that blood is still pumping, fertilizing the earth. Fertilizing the earth. We are sitting on giants, dead bodies everywhere. Hannibal cannibal. The world will die if the dead does not fertilize. So, as you are, yay! You will go back into the ground, into the soil, where you belong, to fertilize the earth. The earth will never die. Do you get it? And that includes not just you measly little people, the monsters, the dragons, the fairies, the gnomes, everything living will die and go into the ground and fertilize the earth to give it life. Your soul will return in a different form. And where we are going now is into machinery, because our bodies need to be stronger, but you'll come back. Your consciousness, it will. That's how it works. Anyway, I hope that maybe in 2026 you will start to read the Bible with a different perspective and see it for what it really is, and also go out there to search other texts and information to find out where you are. I told you, you don't know where you are, and that's the problem. And you don't know what is going on here, and you need to find those things out. It's not going to save you or change anything, but at least you'll know. And then, therefore, you can move accordingly and just maybe even just relax. You'll start to see that everything's not really a big deal. It just is what it is. And that's why in the animal kingdom, animals behave the way that they do. They just kill, they go on. See, now we are so aware on a different level. That's why killing is bad and whatnot. But that is why God has provisioned us with these animals that have a different type of awareness, but they have a great, very big awareness. They are just as important as you are to feed. Then you will die and you will feed the earth, and a tree can grow from where you are laid. It's just the cycle of life. You are the greatest being on the earth, humans. You're not. You're just part of the cycle of life. On and on and on and on. And that's how it goes. And you're living on dead bodies everywhere. Giants, you're eating the salt, Himalayan salt. You're eating the blood. I mean, you're already eating animals. You're cannibal. And people are eating people. How about that? You don't know where you are, but in 2026 you're going to have to start to find out. You have to dig a little bit deeper. And I can do these videos and maybe put them on members only, or maybe I have to start a Patreon. I have to find out what will be censored or what not. But you have to know. You have to know. Because his people will die from a lack of knowledge. And even that saying goes so far deeper than what you think. So now it makes sense. I hope it does for you. Why the whole Venezuela situation is happening. Most of these Caribbean and coastal areas, there's going to be drama. Floods and everything. Watch. It's about to get interesting. And I hope that we all do stick around. I always pray to God and I say, Father, can you just keep me on? I want to see. I really just want to see what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen, but I want to see it. And when you start hearing and witnessing things like this, it's like, oh, they actually doing it. And they're going to bomb and wake that thing up. Yo, me in South Africa, in where I live, where it's not coastal, I'll be able to see Leviathan lift its head. And I will feel it. That's how deep it is. Oh, they discovered this in the ocean. Oh my gosh, look at that thing. What is that? We haven't discovered 75% of the ocean because they haven't. There's aliens down there. Guys, a simple one. An octopus. An octopus is an alien. It is. An octopus can camouflage so quickly. Have you seen how quickly they watch the animal channels? And you will not see that it's day. And they kill us. They have all those, what is it? Not tentacles. Those things are aliens. It's fascinating. Even a jellyfish is dangerous. God is so creative. But the world is so dangerous if you don't have the knowledge. So you must find out. Stop drinking so much. That's not the only thing that the world has to offer, that God has to offer you and your brain. Relax. There's a lot of exciting things. I think this year I'm really going to share with you guys. Because you deserve to know. Right? So, they're extracting the oil. That's what Trump's doing. And it's because of the Leviathan. There's not only one. There's smaller ones too. And it's not just a snake. It's a dragon. It has wings. And it's awake. Read Revelations. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.